Global Tech Talks, Decoding the Success Variants. I'm Tejas from CSE AML third year, the Vice President of Student Council. So today I'm very happy to welcome you to the second episode of our podcast. So today we are having Mr. Vikrant Shitole, who is the CEO and founder of ThinkMates. So for you all who don't know what is ThinkMates is a startup that is enriched with showing students as an e-learning platform which helps them in finding their careers across data science, business analytics, data analytics and many more. So here's Mr. Vikrant.
Thank you for the introduction and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So sir, to start things off, how do you think that, how has your career been?
So my career is kind of, if I want to define in one line, it's an out of syllabus, out of regular career. Started my career as a manufacturing shop floor engineer at Mahindra & Mahindra Automotive Division. I was part of the foundry product unit where the temperatures used to go more than 400 degrees Celsius, where they used to manufacture a mold of a cast iron. And then from shop floor, I changed my career into IT when I joined the technology department of NCDX, National Commodities Derivatives Exchange. I was storage administrator there. Did my MBA, post MBA worked with company like Godrej in marketing and sales for 3 years, and 2.5 years in disruptive innovation team of Godrej. This was my defining moment in my career because in disruptive innovation, the idea was to come out with new businesses that Godrej is not into. So how do you do the user research? How do you convert user research into design principles? How do you use design principles to develop a product, then manufacture a product and then market and commercialize a product? The end-to-end value chain. And marketing and innovation is like telling a blind person value of color red. It's very difficult because there is no benchmark. And that actually, this kind of experience gave me a confidence. I was directly reporting to Navroz Godrej, part of the disruptive innovation team, to come out with, basically quit my corporate job and start Homely now, which was my first startup. Homely is a platform to access authentic home cooked meals online. So we ran that business for 5 years. Unfortunately, due to the COVID, we had to halt the business operations. But till that time, we had scaled to almost 500 meals on per lunch basis. And we were serving 11 pin codes in Bombay. Post that, I again worked in Hyderabad for a startup called Musical as head of sales. Then I worked with New Sigma in Bangalore as account director for one of US's largest pulp and paper manufacturer, managing their entire decision supply chain, and now with ThinkMates, trying to share my 16 years of working in manufacturing, retail, automotive, food to people like you and the companies who need data-driven decisions. So that's about me. Thank you.
That's really quite very big thing which you have already shared with us, because when you're saying that to the listeners it might be that it might be a phrase of some 2 to 3 minutes, but then the emotions that your eyes are sparkling of the 16-year-old that you're having is really immeasurable is what I can say. So you had started your career from a very basic employee and now you are CEO and founder of such a big e-learning platform. So how do you feel that, okay, today I'm CEO, the highest authority of that. So how many butterflies do you get in your stomach for that?
Yeah, so the work remains same. We are doing a problem solving. Only thing is, let me give a metaphor of a forest. So what happens is when you're a caterpillar, you only see the leaves, you see the veins in the leaf. Slightly higher perspective than the caterpillar is of butterfly. They see flowers, they see leaves, they see bunch of leaves, they see branches as well. Slightly higher perspective squirrel. Squirrel can go up and down and go horizontal as well. It can jump trees. So it not only sees the branches, flower, leaves, it sees the tree at a whole as well. Monkey sees 8-10 trees at a time. In fact, it's the highest position. It warns if any predator is coming to the other animals. The highest position is of an eagle. Eagle from that height, 200 feet height, sees the entire forest. Monkey sees 10 trees, squirrel sees 5 trees, butterfly might see 4-5 bunch of leaves and branches, caterpillar see only leaves. It's just the perspective changes when you start as an operator or a shop floor designer, but the problem solving approach right from that caterpillar to eagle remains the same. I think eagle view is more of a forest view Eagle can predict if there is a fire in one forest, how soon or at what speed the fire will spread to this forest, and it can warn animals in this forest. It's like a CEO job. If there is a fire in procurement department, you have to zoom in. Now Eagle, the best thing about Eagle, it has zoom in such a powerful eyesight. It can zoom in to the leaf and it can see a caterpillar on the leaf. So if required, at that height, Eagle can zoom into even a leaf view if possible. It has a 200x zoom imbibed into it. So if you want to solve a problem in procurement, you know the problem in procurement can have a repercussions on the sales and the finance and the operations. So how do you zoom in as a CEO of a company, get in the procurement, solve it, get it at the leaf level, get it at the branch level, solve it, so that you can prevent the fire reaching the other forest. So that's the analogy. The work remains same. It's the problem solving. It's just that the perspective changes.
This lesson in my home today, because this is really a very big thing, because it's not just so easy to stay humble being in that position, because you are now so much adapted that any field, as you're the CEO, you can take anything, you have to work on it with the same caliber that the real working person has. So you are actually carrying those many characters in you now. Just to run a complete thing is really hats off to know. So if going back in time, I had told a 5-year-old Vikrant that someday he's going to become a CEO, how do you think he would have reacted?
That time, 5-year-old, I would have questioned, what do you mean by CEO? I wouldn't have known what exactly, but I'll tell you one thing, I always had a passion for entrepreneurship. During 3rd year of my engineering, I had locked in when people were deciding, oh, I want to do MS for going abroad, I want to write UPSC exams, I want to go for MBA, Masters, MTech. I was very clear I want to get into entrepreneurship. Because I come from a very humble financial background, it was not easy for me to directly out of state, out of the college, go into entrepreneurship. So the idea was to build 2 capitals. One is the financial capital needed to get into entrepreneurship. Second is the intellectual and the knowledge capital and the experience capital needed so that a person from a middle class background can actually start something on his own. So both the capitals I had earmarked in the 3rd year of engineering itself, that I'll work for 7 to 10 years, build these 2 capital. One is the financial capital and the second is the experience and the intellectual capital before I take my entrepreneurial jump. But since college days, I wanted to start something and impact. I'd read an article somewhere that India at this stage where we are transitioning from a services-based economy and we want to become a manufacturing giant, India today needs job givers rather than job seekers, and that kind of hit me. And those were the days when Swadesh movie was released. Swadesh was a very popular movie. Out of my 30 batchmates in engineering, 28 went for MS, and I and another colleague stayed here because that Swadesh movie had a huge impact on my career choices that time. And I'm loving every moment of it. Not even a single second I regret not going for MS that time. So
this also shows your patriotism that I can see. That spark is really quite not often to see, because not many people know that not just going to abroad we can do, but we can do anything doing where we are. So yeah, so that's really great.
And so heartening, right? When I passed out of my engineering, most of the people either wanted to do MS, go abroad, or write UPSC exams. The best of it, the cream la cream, wanted to do these 2 things. Now the situation is changing, wherein the best of the lot want to actually start up on their own. That's such a heartening change that is happening gradually across India, because we desperately need more and more people to take entrepreneurship, create the jobs. And I'll give an example. Let's say I'm an employee of a company. I will need home to stay. So I will finance the rent services. I will need food daily basis. I'll need travel from office to home. So I'm kind of encouraging travel business. I will go to Kirana store. I'll buy groceries. I'll go to chai daily. So one employment is generating so many allied businesses and so many other jobs. Imagine you becoming entrepreneur and you creating a pipeline of jobs. So your contribution, one employee contributes so much to the GDP. If you become an entrepreneur, you contribute so much to the GDP of the country and the growth of the country. That's what keeps us going, and that's what keeps us working so hard daily, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week.
What you have just said is 10x of what a normal man thinks. Because not generally we might see, we might look, but not everything that we see we are able to perceive. And this that you just said, that one entrepreneur gives so much to the country, is really out of words what I can say. So sir, coming back to ThinkMates, so ThinkMates also concentrates more on data science. So how do you term data science for a layman?
So that's a very interesting question, right? Let's take, I take my 3-year-old niece to the zoo, Hyderabad Zoo. I take my 3-year-old niece to the Hyderabad Zoo, and we decide to play a game. We will try and analyze the most popular animal in the zoo, in the Hyderabad Zoo, which is the most popular animal. So what we do is, at the entrance we stand, we start counting the number of people entering the zoo, and at the same time the entrance and the exit suppose is the same. So while exiting, we ask a question: how many animals have you seen and which is your most popular animal? And let's say we take 40 responses. We collate that data of 40 responses to understand which is the most popular animal in the zoo from the 40 responses that we have got the moment we stand. That is nothing but analytics. Unknowingly, we are analyzing and calculating which is the most popular animal in the Hyderabad Zoo. With that time frame, we are extrapolating it maybe across the day, maybe in 1 hour if 40 people are saying, let's say tiger is the most popular animal, then we can extrapolate it to many more data points. That's what we do in our day-to-day life as well in our business. We convert data into meaningful insights, and those meaningful insights into high-quality decisions which can actually help organization achieve a business outcome. Analytics for me is all about achieving a business outcome. Nobody pays you money to do complex exponential smoothing or random forest or high-end classification models. People pay you money to solve their business problems and achieve a business outcome. So I'll keep it very simple. Analytics is all about converting a small d data into a big D decision, and which should actually achieve a business outcome. So that's how I'll put it, analytics.
Now I got a better view of data science with what you have just said. So sir, now as you said that we will have much mental mathematics which we are having. Like if I'm thinking now for the same zoo example, I'm having an estimate that this hour I went and this much is what I saw. So for a whole day, this could be the probable ratio is what I can think. So somewhere mathematics is playing the role. Other than this, what do you think in data science the core topics could be, or the core components of data science could be?
So data science has, in the entire journey of converting data into meaningful insights and then meaningful insights into decision, the first step is to understand the business problem and convert that into analytical problem. Because end of the day, client will only pay you money to achieve a business outcome. So there is a framework, there is a process that we do to convert business problem into analytical problem. When I say analytical problem, it's nothing but right questions to ask to solution a problem. Let's take a zoo example. Let's say tiger is the most popular animal we got from 40 responses. Now this is a hypothesis I need to validate for the entire zoo. I need more data points. So the right question or a right hypothesis is tiger the most popular animal? To validate that, what kind of data requirements I'll need from the zoo management to test out the hypothesis. So once we convert a business problem into an analytical problem, we enumerate the data requirement or formulate the data requirement. Once we get those data requirement from the client, the next step is to actually pre-process the data. Pre-processing of data is nothing but cleaning the data, transforming the data, removing the null values, removing the duplicates, right? You have to make the data consistent, normalize the data. It's called pre-processing of the data, data cleaning, data transformation. Once you have clean, normalized data, you do something called as exploratory data analytics. So exploratory data analytics is nothing but culling out initial insights from the data just by looking at the data. Let's say we have a data point of 300 rows and 25 columns. Just by looking at the columns and the 300 rows, what are the initial level insights? In a zoo examples, how many animals are herbivorous? How many animals are carnivores? How many animals are water fond animals? How many animals can stay in other terrain environment? Basic data points, just by looking at that. In looking at your class data, we can enumerate, let's say 67% are boys, 33% are girls. Out of that overall class strength of 70 people, more than 35% have CGP above 70%. These are all initial insights just by looking at the data. So that is called exploratory data analytics. Next step is doing data modeling. You have to establish the relationship between different tables. A hierarchy, the relationship between different tables is what we do in next stage called data modeling. Once that is established, you go into deep learning. You have to learn from the data and apply, if it necessitates, a relevant machine learning model on the data, or you can apply simple Excel, SQL, Power BI data analytics on it to come out with high level insights. End of the day, we are solving a business problem. In this case, most popular animal in the zoo, we are validating whether tiger is the most popular. So all of the analytics should help us validate the initial key questions we are trying to ask. The meaningful insights come in the step number 4, that is the real analytics that we do. Now these insights need to be presented to the right stakeholder. That's where data visualization comes into play. You have to tell a story from a data so that the right stakeholder is empowered to take the high quality decision or the right decision which will impact the business outcome. So in this case, if I am a zoo in charge, I can take, if tiger is the most popular animal, I'll take a decision ki, okay, we need to procure 3 Royal Bengal tigers from another zoo or from another forest department so that we attract more visitors in our zoo. So it helps us get more visitors, and in net it helps us improve our profitability. So that's the cycle. We do it on any project, data small d to a big D decision, and then a business outcome impact.
You actually gave me a big pyramid of how a step-by-step approach can be taken by the students. So if I say that now our main motto of the podcast also, I can say that it is to help the students, guide whoever are seeing. So as a part of that, my question is, if a person is looking up to a career in data science, now let it be a proper CSE or computer science background graduate, or a person who is from any other discipline, let it be civil, mechanical, or even commerce or anything. But now we can see a gradual fashion maybe that despite of studying many other disciplines, they are coming back to data science and having job at career in IT. So how do you look up to that fashion?
Okay. So I was talking about if you want to build a career in data science, 3 things are absolutely essential. Data science has 33% maths. Your foundational knowledge of statistics and mathematics need to be extremely important. Your foundational clarity, how do you apply mathematical concepts into real life, are extremely important. So data science is 33% maths, 33% is business acumen, understanding a real business problem and how do you convert it into analytical problem. And then 33% is a statistical programming language, whether it's SQL, Excel, Python, R, SAS. All these are tools. Tools can be mastered by doing practice. The real difficulty lies actually is in understanding the problem, exploring that problem from a 360-degree perspective, and then understanding the foundational mathematics of it. Data science by mathematics is difficult because jitna complex problem hai, you're understanding which principle of mathematics should I apply to first understand the problem and then solution the problem is the core. Let me give an example of regression analysis that we learned in 11th standard algebra. We do linear regression model, right? Linear regression is nothing but a strength of correlation between the two variables. So that is denoted by a factor called as R square. R square is nothing but a goodness of fit. It will tell you how good or how related these two variables are. One of them is dependent variable, dependent on something else, and one of them is independent variable. Like for example, paddy production is dependent on an independent variable rain. Or let's take an example, I have 30 rupees advertising budget last year. With the 30 rupees advertising budget, last year my revenue was 100 rupees. Now this year if I increase advertising budget from 30 rupees to 60 rupees, what will be the incremental revenue change that I can have is kind of a linear regression model. You can use a regression trend line to predict what can be the values. Here the revenue is a dependent variable depending on the independent variable advertising. Now it's very important to understand the real life implications of this R square value. Let's say R square value we calculate it is 91%. So means 91% dependent variable is dependent on independent variable called advertising. But that doesn't mean कि advertising this year if we do zero, we will have zero revenues. We still have built a brand. Even if we don't do advertising, we still have X revenue given by equation y is equal to mx plus c, where c is nothing but the intercept. Even if this is zero, we will still have some revenue. And we need to really understand in our day-to-day life, reality mein regression can give only a 91% probability, the R square. Reality mein revenue increase is dependent on so many other factors. Maybe government policy has changed, maybe inflation has come down, maybe interest rates have come down, maybe we have launched a new product in a new geography, right? Consumption has increased because of lowering of interest rate. There are so many different parameters in the play. Maybe the competitor, one of the competitors is going out of the market. All these factors combined will also have an influence on the revenue. So in the world of analytics, we need to know what is the strength of a model, in this case a linear regression model, and till we have to take the results with a pinch of salt. This is what analytics can predict, but reality से कहीं ज़्यादा हो सकती है. This is what analytics cannot do. This is the limitation of analytics, as much we need to know as we pursue. So I just wanted to relate this example because foundational clarity of mathematics and how do you apply it to solve real world problems, if that's not there and if you don't have passion for problem solving, then you will find it extremely tough, the analytical world. But if you have a passion for problem solving, you love maths, right? You like thinking the problems through an analytical lens, then you will find it very exciting, and one of the most lucrative fields right now is analytics.
Listening to your answer now, I've developed much respect for maths because I never knew that we can have so much sense of looking into maths in such an everyday perspective. Now I'm thinking that probably this is an eye-opening session. So carrying on the same lesson that I've got today, we'll meet you in the next episode with the furthermore secrets unrevealed, which we'll be unwrapping in the next episode of the same sequel. Till then, this is me Tejas signing off.